Hello everyone, this is Kaifu here with Game 2 in the series between Carn and Liam. With Carn on my left side playing Yudrusu the World Tree, while on my right side we have Liam playing Reflect Refrain. Now Reflect Refrain, as I said before in my previous video, is a versatile rule, allows you to do a lot of stuff, drawing, going a bit more aggressive, pumping more damage onto it. It does a lot of stuff on the rule side, not only that, on the J rule side, the ability to become a removal, a shooter card, and a possibility countering a very powerful normal spell. While on my left side we do have Carn playing a Yudrusu the World Tree. It's a very strong counter against most aggressive deck because aggressive deck is very strong in the early game, but the issue is that they can't really do much against like big type resonators such as ours, and especially with ours and Excalibur in play, it does cost them like a bit more resource to kill by targeting it with spells or abilities. So let's get back to the game itself. Currently life point wise 4,000 compared to 3,800. Well, surprisingly that Liam has triple changed the world, so that's again a game with a lot of counters, so meaning that more counters, more tutoring, more bouncing, and more countering normal spell that Carn will play. But at the moment we do know that Carn is playing a very different version of World Tree. It looks like a very aggressive version, but if he's about to die to aggressive type of decks, he can actually get Alice out, so a very interesting type of choice. So attacking directly will last almost 600 damage, which Liam does take, and Liam does sacrifice the Guinevere to draw 2 new cards, so it looks like that he doesn't have a really powerful hand, so meaning that he has to sacrifice the Guinevere to draw 2 cards to make his hands a bit better. So yeah. Tapping 3 orbs for counters. It will be very nice that if Carn actually has a Shadow Barrier which shuts down those orbs really easily with no trouble at all, and cost Liam a bit more trouble with those orbs in play, because orb doesn't really do anything in the early game unless you have enough counters and enough resource to keep drawings from those orbs or getting more counters for tutoring and so on. So in the early game it's okay, but in the late game that's where orb shines the most by removing all counters and do all shenanigans. Paying 2 resource and obviously paying 200 life point by the looks of it from the Moonshade. Moonshade is a very great card, but however I don't think it's great in the early game at the moment because you do not want to lose life against an aggressive type player, and by the looks of it Carn is playing a very aggressive type of deck. By using Outer World Killing last slot, which is great because now that DPS resonator is out of the way, so pretty much Liam does not have to worry about it. But if I was Liam, I would actually leave it open and let my opponent attack into it, and then you Outer World so you can interact against your opponent. And surprisingly that Liam did not actually use the filter ability, so something in his hand must be very important that he doesn't want to filter. For me, even as a very good card in my hand, I will still filter anyway and see what top deck into. If it's something better than what I have in my hand, I will actually take it. So yeah, that's my point of view, but he actually pumped up the Rugek instead. Income to appreciate and attacking direct was 700, which does put Liam down to 2,300 compared to Carn's 4,000. At the moment, the field looks pretty empty for Liam, and he only has 2 Magic Stone, and one of them is a Moonshade, so each time he uses a Moonshade, it will cost him a bit more life points. Tapping for another Magic Stone, getting another Moonshade, kind of painful. With those Moonshade in play, you can mostly tap for colorless, because the more you use of the Moonshade, the more life point you will drain yourself, and you're versing an aggressive type of deck, so which is red. So yeah, paying 200 once more, which does put Liam down to 2,100. Looks like he's playing a 3 drops at the moment. He's gonna play his own Precious, so his own Precious will do enough damage directly to that opponent's Precious, so meaning that he can get rid of it. But however, the Rugek is still in play, so you can easily block it and search for another Precious or a last slot in general. So in the at the moment, the upper hand does go to Carn with the stronger field, life point wise, and also Rugek for defending purposes and so on. And not only that, if he is about to die, at least Yudrusu will be there to help him. So let's see now. Life point wise, 4,000 compared to 2,100. Field wise, 3 Change the World, 1 Precious compared to 1 Rugek and 1 Precious in play. Obviously, like I said before, the Change the World doesn't really do much because again, it doesn't serve a purpose like what I mean by serving a purpose, like serving a purpose on the battlefield, like sure you gain more counters on your reflective frame, but however, does it advance the board state? Does it really change the current situation? Not really, but again, it's a really good card for reflective frame to gain more counters, to do more stuff at the late game. So it's a good setup card, but again, having 3 on the field at the same time is very intimidating, but at the same time you're revealing to your hand that I have 3 worlds, change the world in my hand, and then I have nothing else in my hand. So thundering the Precious, so taking 500 point damage from the Precious effect, but however, getting rid of the Precious is a bit more how to say, a bit more not better, but in a good way as well, because instead of taking 700, you're taking 500 instead. So which is a good way for Carn to like reduce damage and so on. And we did notice that Carn did play the FoWTCG, which is Refresh, which allows him to draw a card, and each time his opponent when his opponent count targeting his resonate with a spell or ability, he has the option to cancel it if he really wants to. Currently, life point wise, 3,500 compared to 1,400. Life point wise, in advantage is going towards Carn and not in the field wise as well. At the moment, those Moonshades causing a lot of problem for Liam, because again, the more each time he uses it by paying the life point, the more life point he will lose. So he has to be very careful when using those Moonshade, because those Moonshade are not cheap to pay for cost, and especially against Appreciate, which has the ability to fly as well by giving 1 resource for it. So yeah, you have to be very, very careful. 2 attack from Appreciate, it's pretty much game over here. So let's see what can Liam do now. Liam's gonna pay 200 more life point from the by looks of it, which does put Liam down to 1,200 life point. And given flying, so pretty much flying and swiftness, by looks of it, so you can attack into the Appreciate without the Rigger blocking. And pumping at the same time by looks of it, and attacking the Appreciate by looks of it, yeah, taking the Appreciate, but however, taking 500 point damage directly from the Appreciate effect. And sorry for the camera moving, because I actually set it on the table, which was a very, very bad idea for me, because the hallway was very small, so I didn't have a lot of space, so I had to put it onto the table. And obviously with players smacking the table and so on, very, very sorry about that. I can't do anything about it. So yeah, sorry for the camera moving. Next time if I do make another video for feature matches for like big events, hopefully I can have a big enough space for actually recording without the putting on the tripod on the table and hitting the table and slamming it and making the camera move a bit too much. Again, sorry about that. So let's see now, 700 life point left for Liam, so Liam has to be very, very careful now. He is within range for 1 Perfect Fire, Double Thunder, and especially Split Heaven and Earth if Carn does play it. Which I completely doubt, because Carn does play a lot of special magic stones, so I don't really think he can really afford it, because for those who don't know, Jutsu only triggers when your opponent deals damage to you, not really to your dealing damage to yourself. In comes to Athena. Athena has swiftness 7/7 and has the ability to burn the opponent directly, or burn player place for 100. So in comes to 700, and looks like Liam's gonna bounce it back to his hand. So in comes the Refresh targeting it. Looks like making Liam wasting more counter, but I don't think it's a problem, because Liam at the start did have triple change the world, so gaining a lot of counter for him is not that bad. And looks like Carn's gonna use the burn damage from the what do you call it, Athena, so you can burn each of 100 life point damage. And we did notice that he actually put it in the graveyard instead of his hand, but later in the video he will grab back his hand by noticing it. So let's see what he can do. Currently life point wise 3,400 compared to 600 life point. Field wise Brigade compared to Reflective Frame on the battlefield. 3 Change the Will and 1 of the red blue resonate, which I cannot remember the name. Now for those who don't know, who are new to the channel, I'm pretty terrible with names when it comes to resonators or spells wise, if they are not very common in the format, so it's very, very hard for me to remember. But I do know the effects of it, but just the name itself, terrible at it. So it looks like Liam's getting more counters during the end phase. And he draws for turn, so pretty much he's not going to change Reflective Frame back to the rules form. Surprisingly, if I were Liam, I would change it back right now because look at the situation. His opponent is completely tapped out when it comes to resource except for one, and he has a rook in play, so you don't have to worry too much. And the open resource is green, so unless there's a green burn spell, you don't have to worry about it. So if I was Liam, I would definitely flip back my J rule back to the rule form. At least have the ability to filter, and knowing that the ability to pump your resonator, the ability to even go a bit more aggressive, recover the end phase. It gives you a lot of options. So, but instead he's tapping for a magic stone. So very interesting. Again, we do have reflective frame with a lot of counters onto it, so he can add more counter if necessary need to. He's just taking this opportunity to set up a bit more, I believe. So let's see now. We're already at the 10-minute and 35-second mark now. So let's see what can Liam actually do in this situation. Giving a flying, so obviously the rook egg cannot block at all. So not giving the opportunity for Carn to actually block with the rook egg. So you get a free search from the rook egg. So now he already noticed that the Athena is in the graveyard instead of in his hand. So he's going to add back to his hand right now. So let's see now. The problem now is that as soon Carn drops the Athena once more, he can just slowly burn his opponent 100 each time. But then again, we don't know what can Liam do. Liam does have 4 Magic Stone open, so he can pretty much interact with the opponent, like for example, Flame with Outer World and so on, like we saw earlier. So that could be a possibility that what he can do at the moment. Paying free resource, and looks like dropping the Athena once more. Athena attempt to be putting on the battlefield. Paying 1, and oh, surprising, he actually used the what's it called? Seal, Light and Wind, I believe that's what's it's called. But surprisingly, he actually using it in this type of deck. So by looks of it, I was correct in game 1 where he is playing a 5-color type of deck. Again, that is pretty greedy because it's very inconsistent. So you have to be very careful when playing color-wise. Yes, having more colors in the deck gives you a lot more firepower, a lot more options, a lot more tech choices. But again, you're playing a very greedy type of deck, meaning that if you do not draw the right stones in time and you are color stuck, it will cause you a lot of problems. So you have to be very careful when it comes to ratio-wise. Yes, we have Rules Memorial, yes, we have Moonshine and so on, but however, those are really good if only you have the right cards in hand. It can be kind of chunky and so on, so you want to be consistent. So yeah, attacking directly for 600 damage from the Red Blue Resonator, giving flying obviously. And again, looks like Liam did not DJ activate. I don't know if that is a word or not, but did not flip back to his rule form to draw cards and pumping and so on. And again, not tapping for resource for his turn, so pretty much he wants to keep his resource open, assuming he has a lot of interaction spell to play with by the looks of it. So let's see now. But we do give the advantage to Carn still, because Carn still have a lot of resource. Yes, he doesn't have the J rule to flip over, but he does have the ability take more damage, induce more damage, and bring Alice and Excalibur out onto the battlefield, putting him in a strong position he needs to be. Because a single swing from any red resident like Lancelot, Precia, and so on, that is pretty much game. But we do have a Reflective Frame still on the battlefield with the ability annoying of bouncing and so on. In comes the Seal Wind once more, but using Awakening, so pretty much not allowing the opponent to use any of his cancel spell, because we do know that Carn is actually playing green-red as well. So green-red meaning that you might assume that your opponent might have a Cake Zone or a cancel spell of its own and so on. So yeah, even then playing the Awakening is fine, but your opponent still have 4 resources open, so you do not really want to pay all your resources for no reason, because if your opponent has like double fund or something, he can stop you. But then again, Reflective Frame is still on the battlefield, so he can cancel the funders if necessary. It really depends. Looks like paying 4 resource to tutor for a card, adding card to his hand. I'm not sure what he's adding at the moment. In this situation, if I was Liam, I will hopefully he has some kind of life gain in his deck. It has life gain, that will be fine, but of course I'm not sure what kind of deck or what kind of cards in Liam's deck doesn't, so I don't know what he's adding in general. So let's see. Draw the turn. So again, he's not flipping his J rule back to the rule form. because obviously Carn will open 4 open magic stone, so double thunder will finish the game off. So it looks like Liam's gonna be playing a bit safe and not flip back his rule forms just in case of thunder comes in. Ruin counter, giving a flying once more, attacking for 600, obviously not allowing Carn to block with the Rugate, which is very annoying for Carn at the moment. Carn wants that Rugate in his graveyard so he can search for a resonator he needs, like a Susano or any red resonator in general. Tapping for a magic stone, so he does have free change the world, so he can actually untap his J-roll if he necessarily need to. But yeah, tapping for a magic stone is not too bad, but then again, you have to be very careful when it comes to tapping for a magic stone if you can play against red. Again, split heaven earth is a thing, so you want to be very careful. But then again, Carn is in the same situation as well. If he plays split heaven and earth, this will be a draw by the looks of it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 special magic stones. That is more than enough to keep force the draw. Play another Refridge. Refridge will allow him to draw a card and obviously protect his resonator. And by the looks of it, Liam is actually countering the Refridge. If I was Liam, I wouldn't even bother, because what can Refridge do in this current situation? Like Refridge, sure, allows the opponent to draw a card, allows the opponent to protect his resonator from target spells or abilities. But the problem is that his opponent does not have anything on the field, so countering it is not a big issue. You want to actually counter like such as really heavy impact type of normal spells such as thunders and so on. So you have to be very careful when it comes to countering normal spell with Reflective Frame, because you do not want to recklessly countering useless cards, because like again, Refridge is not a card you want to counter at the moment because it doesn't really advance the board state for Carn, but it does give him the extra hand, but however it does not really help him. So and if you're wasting too much counter, and if your opponents have enough resource to thunder you like 4 times and you out of counters because you counter a useless type of card, then that is kind of the issue. So again, you have to be very careful when to use Reflective Frame's ability. You do not want to use it too recklessly unless you know you're going for game. Give him flying once more, not allowing Carn to get any blocking purpose going. And again, sorry for the camera shaking once more. Yeah, next time I will not put the tripod on the table because obviously it's one long table, one big long table you can say. So yeah, not the best place to put it in. So yeah, next time I'll keep that in mind. So let's see. Tapping the True Stone and dropping another red blue resonator on the battlefield. I'm surprised he's actually tapping the little True Stone, because the little True Stone can actually pump his own resonator, hit a bit hard and so on. So I'm very surprised, because usually players don't tap the True Stone unless they necessarily need to. They usually try to leave the True Stone open. If the opponents try to thunder the resonator, they try to run into it, and you can just randomly pump into a little True Stone, so which is really relevant. Flashing in Alice, and obviously in comes the counter spell, so not allowing Carn have any opportunity to have any stuff on the field. But again, paying for the Awakening, you don't necessarily need to pay for the Awakening, because again, your opponent was completely tapped out, so you have to pay attention how much resource your opponent has and so on to see is it worth to use the Awakening, because at this point, Liam only has 1 open magic stone, and the second open magic stone could be really relevant again. So you want to make sure that your opponent is not actually have open resource. If they have open resource, sure, you can awaken it, but if they don't have the open resource like open magic stone, you don't need to awaken it, because you know for the fact that your opponent is completely tapped out. No point wasting resource for no reason. Counting Refresh once more by Liam, so pretty much not allowing Carn to draw any cards for some reason. Obviously he is in a strong position, obviously, but however, not allowing it meaning that he can't do anything about it. So let's see now. Life point wise, 1000 compared to 600 life point. Field wise, Rook 8 compared to 3 Change the World, 1 Reflective Frame, and 2 red blue Resonant in the battlefield. So at the moment, Liam is actually in the driving seat now, because he is in control what Carn can play at the moment. But yeah, it's really frustrating that for Carn that he can't do anything with Rugek because he has no way to incarnate at the moment. He has no way to somehow sacrifice it unless he has a Leviathan in play. He has no way to block it because Liam's actually giving all his Resonator flying. So yeah, so it's very hard to actually combat that type of play at the moment. And not only that, Liam has a bit more hand advantage than his opponent at the moment as well. His opponent does have Liam does have Thunder, so he can actually Thunder his opponent and swing for 600 if he really wants to. But again, you do not want to trigger your Yggdrasil's ability if you cannot handle the current situation. But by the looks of it, he should be fine. Cause like think of this way, as soon he launches an attack and for 600, which does put Carn down to 400 life point, you can just Thunder for game, and then obviously you just will trigger, and then you can use Reflect Refrain's ability to bounce it back to his opponent's hand, and then attack it directly for game again once more. Cause he does have free Change the Will in hand, so yeah. That's what he should do. I think he should Thunder his opponent right now, because by Thundering his opponent, you can actually bounce it back with Reflect Refrain's ability. Sure, you pay 2 resource, but you have enough resource anyway, and plus you have a Resident on the field, can get flying, and that will be enough for game. But let's see, does Liam do it or not? Looks like he's paying 1 for Thunder. No, he's paying 2 resource by looks of it. He's not sure at the moment. Paying 2. Playing another Red Blue Resonant play. I'm not very sure. I think the Thunder to the face and then forcing the Yggdrasil to trigger and bouncing with Reflect Refrain will give you the game at this point. But I'm not sure if he sees it, because obviously I see it from here. I see the Thunder, I see the opportunity and so on, but I don't think Liam noticed it at the moment. So let's see. Life point wise, 400 compared to 600 life point. Field advantage is very overwhelming for Carn at the moment. Reflect Refrain, free Red Blue Resonators, and free Change the World. Compared to a little Rugek, which is not blocking, because he can't block with it. So yeah, very tough for Liam. Not Liam, very tough for Carn at the moment. But again, Carn is still okay because he does have Yggdrasil Will Tree in effect still. But again, Reflect Refrain can simply bounce it. And obviously, Liam does have enough resource to, like, you know, pay for 2 colors to avoid the Excalibur X. We're at the 22-minute mark now, so Liam's still thinking. He's maybe worried about his opponent's hand, or maybe if he was worried about the cancel spell if it happens or not. But then again, Liam does have a Change the World, like triple of them, and then a lot of counter on Reflect Refrain anyway. So I think he should definitely try to Thunder his opponent, because you got nothing to lose here. If you Thunder, he cancelled, then he loses a card, and you can counter with Reflect Refrain as well. So you have nothing to lose here. So I really recommend he should Thunder at the moment, but I can't do anything about it. Adding more counters onto Reflect Refrain, perhaps he sees the play at the moment, but no, he's actually looks like passing his turn. Wow, that is very surprising for me at this point. I'm assuming he's passing turn because he just saying that past turn, I think. No, he's not passing turn. My bad, guys. By the looks of it, I thought he was passing turn. Yes, looks like Thundering for game at the moment. Obviously, Yggdrasil will trigger, and by the looks of it, I think Liam sees the play now. Excalibur X comes out, and where's the Alice? Maybe he has it in hand, perhaps, and maybe the only 2 Alice he has in hand at the moment. Yeah, I think he has it. Yeah, both Alice and both Alice's in hand. So that wasn't a really good card you want to see in your hand. Like, sure, you can see it once, but you do not want to see it all the time. So let's see. I'm pretty sure he will bounce at the moment, because you have nothing to lose. Again, you have a lot of counters onto Reflect Refrain to give it flying. You can bounce it to his hand and so on. Wait, he's paying resource? So paying 200 life, which does put him down to 400 life, so what is he trying to do? He's putting the Susano Sword under the Resonator. This is a very interesting play, I can say. because as I said before, Liam has the opportunity to win right now, like by bouncing that out to his hand. Well, then again, he does have open. Then again, we do have what do you call it? Can't have like a lot of matches don't open, so maybe I can see why. But then again, you should have enough resource to like keep abusing the bounce ability, because like then again, the change the world is currently tapped out, but I don't know how many counter Liam has at the moment on his reflective frame. Maybe 8, I believe. I'm not too sure on my part on the end, but in comes the format Jutsu. So pretty much this allows allows Carn to heal 800 life. Not only that, to put cards back to the bottom deck. He doesn't need to redraw the same amount +1, and on top of that +1 as well. And getting countered by reflective frame. Oh, I really do not know about this because yeah, I really do not know about this because you already have a resonance swing sitting on 10-10, and it looks like he's scooping. Oh, very surprising. So yeah, that's the game, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for this, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time. Peace.